Hello, Steve White, Steve White 89. Full disclosure, this is the third attempt at doing this video. The other two times it became so complicated and long, the video got to about 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this, I need to start again. So I'm going to try and keep it short. Now, first off, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I don't have any proof of anything. I have not been witness to anything. But I just want to talk about some allegations and accusations and rumors that are flying around at the moment, what other people have been saying. I'm not endorsing any of these opinions and saying anyone is right, but I just find it fascinating, and I just want to talk about it for a few minutes and try and keep it short. Now, I basically, Midnight's Edge particularly, and other groups connected with them and the Fandom Menace have been accused of bullying and abusing female YouTubers. And it started off with MechaRandom outing or accusing one of the producers of one of the shows of being abusive to her for over 2 years. And other people have since come out and accused the same person of the same things, and other men have been brought into it. And there appears to be a boys' club that is, or alleged, is basically slandering the women and accusing them of, lying and making things up, and basically the same old sort of story that you would expect to hear whenever a man is accused of something by a woman. Now again, I don't have any proof. This is just what I've heard, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, and I know I'm not very important. I'm not a big channel. I don't think anyone's going to care about what I say, but I just want to cover myself and make sure I'm not accusing anyone of anything. But it is fascinating to watch what is being said. And I do have an opinion, and I have a right to that opinion, and that isn't sort of any sort of statement of fact or knowledge or proof or anything. But all that said, it was fascinating. I was watching MechaRandom's live stream last night, and it was fascinating to see her live, real time, come to some of the conclusions about Midnight's Edge and the Fandom Menace that I did a while ago. And these are, again, my opinions. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I don't, know what's happening on the inside, because I'm not on the inside. I'm on the outside observing like most other people. I've had a bit of contact with a few people because I wanted to be a part of the Fandom Menace. Well, I sort of am, but because that's not... Well, that's the thing. That's one of the questions. Is a Fandom Menace a theory, a thought, an idea, or is it actually a group of people that are coordinated and, organised? And one of the accusations is that these people are coordinated and organised and manipulative, and they had a narrative, an agenda, and talking points, and basically people, when you're working for them, even if you weren't being paid, you still had to talk about certain topics, talk about certain issues, talk about certain people, have the same opinions of the same people, be coordinated, and do your videos on the subjects that they wanted you to. And if you did that, they would support you, and your channel would grow. If you didn't, you'd be threatened with being removed and excommunicated, and you would lose that support, and you would lose that money, and that's basically what people are saying. And what I felt when I was watching the show was I would be watching a lot of shows, and it was my opinion that they're all saying the same thing. It was like all the same groupthink and the same ideas and talking points and narrative, and it all seemed to be a very deliberate narrative attacking certain people and certain groups under certain guises. And again, this is my feelings, my observations, just what I thought. And at first I got sucked into that, really badly sucked into that, because I was really hurt by what happened with Star Trek. I really love Star Trek, and I really am not happy with what's happened with the show. And I was really angry. And I was sucked in using that, because part of propaganda, which is what I believe was being sort of created, is that you engage people's feelings and their emotions and not their intellect and their thought and their reason. And you manipulate those emotions, and, people are like puppets. So that's sort of the accusation here. And I find it kind of embarrassing to admit that. Now, it's not that I said anything I didn't agree with, but my attitude and my anger and my the importance of certain things was out of proportion. I'm looking back and realising. And I now need to go back, and I'm glad I didn't review every show and look at every show. I didn't watch Watchmen, I didn't watch Batwoman or anything like that. but I need to now go back and watch the shows I have watched, like Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Lower Decks, and see now if I was treating them fairly now. It's not going to change the continuity issues, the canon issues, the writing issues, the plot holes, all that sort of stuff. It's not going to change any of that. It's not going to change the fact that the creators have admitted they don't like the fans and they were trolling them, and that they consider the show a platform, and they don't see it as a science fiction TV show for storytelling. They see it as a like a right-wing science fantasy melodrama platform to promote their politics, which is disappointing because Star Trek used to look at both sides of the coin and have a humanistic approach and show both sides so people could make up their own minds and it would actually provoke thought. Whereas Discovery tells people what to think, that they're right or that they're wrong, and you have to agree with them, and that's sort of as far as it goes, and there's really no, it's just not good. So those issues are all still there, but are they as severe and as serious as I felt like they were before? I'm not sure. I need to go back and watch them all again and be objective and try. I'm going to re-review basically everything pretty much. Probably I might just do seasons, not individual episodes, and maybe highlight one or two. But yeah, it was just fascinating to watch Mecha come to these conclusions and feel like I was manipulated, I was controlled, and basically these groups are accused of being misogynist and sexist and racist and homophobic and all these things. And although Mecha didn't address those, she did address the sexism, and she was basically saying, well, if I'm a woman and you're abusing me, these are women who are abusing them, maybe you do have problems with women. If all the women you're attacking in popular culture and the media are also women, and the women you work with are not being treated with respect and with dignity, then maybe you do have a problem with women. Maybe you are a misogynist. Maybe you are a bunch of man babies. And again, that's what she said. That's something that I thought might have been the case. And I don't know, but it makes sense to me, and I feel like that's probably the situation here. And it's just very sad to see people manipulated and abused and feel like they have to do things. And I don't know what else to say without going into too much detail and making this into a really long video. But I watched Mecha sort of come to these conclusions, and it was kind of fascinating because I came to those own conclusions for myself a while ago and believed them to be true. Now again, not on the inside, don't have any proof. But it is disturbing to watch, and people like Mary Mayhem, who I don't really know her, I hadn't really watched any of her videos or anything, but to hear them talk about their experiences, and then to hear supposedly that they have been threatened and intimidated and bullied, and people are coming for them, people are attacking them, because that's the mentality that we have now in society. You're either for or against, right or wrong, left or right. So now that Mecha has criticised this group, now she's seen as being she's the other side. And what's fascinating to me is, and I'm again talking generally about right-wing groups and how they use people, manipulate people, not stating that anyone is one, but what I found fascinating, and what I felt maybe might apply to the situation, but I'm not sure, is that usually right-wing organisations, when they manipulate people, they do it in certain ways, and they're very abusive ways. They isolate people, they threaten people, they intimidate people, they use their power, they entice people, and then once they have people afraid to leave, they can do whatever they want to them because they're not going to leave. These are typical abuser patterns, and a lot of organisations use these, especially the right-wing ones. They're the worst for it. The left-wing, they do the same thing. They both have extremes. They both do the same thing, and then they accuse each other of it and act like they're innocent. But one is fighting for good, one is sort of fighting for right. One's fighting for wrong, right, as in wrong. The other's fighting for left and right. And it's just neither one of them really wins because no one's listening. And if you're right-wing and you believe they're right, nothing can change your mind. If you believe left-wing and nothing they can do is wrong and everyone else is wrong, then no one's going to change your mind. So it's just sort of fascinating just to see her come to sort of that conclusion, and just sort of see that what they're being accused of is using women as shields, and basically, so they can't be called misogynistic and man babies and sexist. They have women say, no, look, see, we have MechaRandom, we have this woman, we have these women, we have these sort of groups and these people, and we couldn't work with them if we were sexist or homophobic, right, or misogynistic. We couldn't do that. So clearly we're not, when really what is alleged is that they were being used as shields, and they were being treated badly, treated as second-class citizens, basically, not getting the same treatment and the same pay and that as the men involved. And now the accusation is that now that the women have all come out, not all of them, but a group of them, at least 5, have come out and accused these men they've worked with being abusive, now all of a sudden they're the bitches. They are the enemy. They are being attacked. They are being doxxed. They are being threatened. They are being allegedly intimidated, threatened, bullied. And it's pretty ugly. And what Mecha was saying, and I don't know if did I say this in the other video or did I say that before? What Mecha was sort of saying and realizing is, if you have a problem, if you can't treat the women you work with respect, and everyone you're criticizing and attacking seems to be a woman, maybe you do have a problem with women. Maybe it is you. Maybe you are a man baby. Maybe you are misogynistic. And for her to come to that conclusion and start to realize that, which is an opinion I came to and I believe to be true, but again, that's just my opinion, which I'm entitled to. It's just sort of fascinating to see her sort of come to that conclusion and have that realization, and to realize, just sort of see how you are manipulated when you're in one of those situations, and how those syndromes work, and how people are propaganda is used, and threats are used, and emotions are used, and people do things that they probably wouldn't have done. And just, it's just fascinating. I'm getting towards, actually I'm up to 12 minutes, I need to stop. There's more I'd like to talk about. I haven't really gone into detail about a lot of that stuff. I haven't really explained some of those thoughts, but I don't want this to be a 20-30 minute video, so that's why I'm stopping now. So feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, let me know what your opinion is of this, what you think of the situation. And like I said before, these are just my thoughts, my opinions. I've come to some conclusions for myself, and now I'm seeing other people have come to the same sort of conclusions. Now, whether we're right, that's up for you to decide, because you can think for yourself. But this is just my observation of my perspective, of my opinion of this sort of stuff. And it's fascinating because you see it in politics, you see it in the media, you see it in YouTube and stuff like this, the way sort of groups work, people work, the right sort of work, and it's just fascinating. And what surprises me is that other people are surprised, that they actually think that somehow they're different, that other people will be treated like that they're special. And it's not until they are no longer useful and then they are in the other group and they realise that, oh, that's how they view us, all of us. And the ones that can be of use, will be tolerated or manipulated or used. But that's really what, when you end up on that heap, that junk heap, you realise that's who you were to them all along. So it's kind of fascinating to see groups fall apart like that, and groups act like that and work like that, and then to see other people come to those conclusions about the people they're working with. And I just am curious to see how this all unfolds, how it ends, and whether anyone's cancelled, whether any groups have to close or switch off because of the bad press and the bad attitude, or whether are there other people who didn't realise who they were dealing with? Are they now going to separate? Will there be a great sort of desertion? It's all very fascinating, and I'm still talking at 14 minutes. I have to stop. But it's just too interesting, and there's too much to talk about. I could make like 10 videos on this. But I'm going to stop mostly because I'm going to get to 15 minutes, which is where I'm pretty much going to stop. And also, my mouth's tired. My mouth's dry, as you can tell. And I'm tired. It's about 12:44 in Australia, and I have been working on stuff all day, and I had a lot of stress with some things just a couple of hours ago. But yeah, was watching Mecha's live stream last night, watched a bunch of video interviews, a bunch of live streams and stuff, and it's very fascinating. What these people are being accused of is really, really bad, and if it's true, what will happen? If it's not true, what will happen? I don't know. How's it going to unfold? It's fascinating, but I've talked long enough. I need to stop. I'll just make a few other videos as things progress and see how things are looking. Okay, thanks. Bye.